Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
Good morning, it's 10:30 on Saturday the 8th of October. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land, and you can see it's quite a bright morning this morning. I'm arriving quite a bit later than I usually do, but there is method in my madness for this. First and foremost, when I normally get down here at sort of 6:30, 7 o'clock, now we're into the autumn months, you can't actually see anything. So you're stumbling around outside in the dark. The chickens do not want to come out, so you sit around waiting for them to get active, and it's distinctly chilly as well. It is still cool, even with that sunshine. It is still cool, but it's had a couple of hours now to at least raise the temperature a little bit. So perhaps we'll get chance today to look inside here. I can see already there's lots and lots of activity on two of the hives. So this one and this one, loads of activity. Not so much on that one, which, as you know, is the one that I am a little bit concerned about. I mean, there are bees. In fact, there's a couple of wasps there, which I don't want. In fact, there's more than a couple of wasps there. There's 3 or 4. Now, is that a bad sign? Have I got wasps taking over the hive? More reason, I guess, to get in there and have a look. So yeah, hopefully it's warmed up sufficiently for me to actually get inside the hives this weekend and take a little look. But as usual, first things first, let's get in and get opened up, sort the chickens out, get the kettle on, and I'll catch up with you shortly. Well, first things first, as usual, sort the chickens out. They're quite happily pecking away at the mixed corn and seed. It is cool in the shade, I have to say. It's not the warmest of days, even with that brilliant sunshine. We seem to have another broody hen sat in the nest box, little brown one. There's no eggs in any of the other boxes, so clearly she's sitting on all of them. So I'll do the food and water. I might leave her there, I might not, I don't know yet. She's been sat there pretty much all week this week, so I don't know what to do. It's a bit late in the year really for hatching chickens, though I would love to do it. I'll have a ponder. Well, good morning and welcome to another weekend. It's a lot brighter today, which is nice. It's been a little bit gloomy, grey and overcast for the last, I don't know, a couple of weeks. Temperatures definitely dropped. Today it's not too bad. I mean, there's a wind, which is adding to the wind chill factor. So even though the sun is out and quite bright today, it is still cool. It's not sunbathing weather, put it that way. It's been another busy week. Lots of extra activity outside of work keeping me occupied. I've been running around with that solar panel and solar power station that I got last week. Just experimenting really. It's been a bit a bit disappointing from the solar panel aspect because I've had no bloody sun. It's been grey and overcast. Today really is the only day that we've seen the sun, so when I get back from the land today, I'll probably have a little bit more of a play with that. In terms of the solar generator, or the power station. I've been running around just checking what the power consumption is for various things. I have done a couple of little mini video clips as I've gone along, which I'll eventually compile into a video. But I've been plugging in the small fridge and the small freezer in the garage just to see what draw in power they actually have. It was actually quite surprising. I'll leave it until you see the video, but it wasn't as much as I thought. Certainly way less than the big fridge freezer I've got in the kitchen. So at some point, might even get it done tonight, we'll see. I'm going to plug in the freezer into the solar power station and just let it run through the night and see how much drop there is on the battery level come morning. I just want an idea of realistically what can I plug into that if we did have a mains power outage. What can I get away with running all the way through the night until the sun comes up or we get daylight the next morning and I'm able to put the solar panel in to recharge the battery on the power station. So all will become clear with that in another video. I just haven't managed to get all of it done quite yet. So anyway, in terms of today, what we're doing, I'll be giving some greenery to the chickens, as I always do at the weekend, after I've done the cabin chat. I'll have a quick run round with you, see what's happening. The planting in terms of numbers of plants is certainly declining. I'll be doing a little bit of trimming and thinning today in the garden room and in the polytunnel. But I'll show you what we've got left. I grabbed those potatoes out of the cupboard today to see how they were doing in terms of chitting. I've got 5 left that aren't planted yet. Their chits aren't very big. I'm guessing that's because temperatures dropped and it's not encouraging them to sprout. So I don't know. I might, just for the hell of it, I might plant them, because if I leave it any much longer, they're not going to have a chance at all of producing tubers by Christmas, and by Christmas that's it, it's game over. So we'll see, I might do that. I will harvest a bucket of potatoes. I do have potatoes left from last week, but I'm going to pull another bucket just to put them in the garden room to dry out, and then I'll pick those up probably on one of my visits during the week. But the main thing I want to try and do today, now we have got some sun, I know it's still not ideal because there's a bit of a wind, but I'm going to get suited up and take a look in those beehives. I mentioned as I came across the field this morning, that third hive, I'm still not sure that's survived. And worse than that, I've seen quite a few wasps hanging around there, and the last thing I want to do is encourage wasps to take up residence in that hive. So when I take the lid off that one, it might get a bit interesting. I wouldn't say it would be interesting for me, because I'll be in panic mode, but it'll be interesting for you anyway, and at least we'll know the answer to that question: has it survived or not? In terms of what's going on in the big wide world, things are just in decline. Pretty much whatever topic, subject you want to choose from the variety of different crises that we've got going on, none of them are improving. They're just declining gradually, and in some cases it might not be a gradual decline, it might be a bit of a cliff edge. But really, I'll just took a couple of little notes here just to prompt me. There are only really 2 areas that I'm kind of focusing on. One is economic in general, so energy, cost of living, and the other one, I'll save that to last. Save the doom and gloom to the end. So general economic activity, cost of living related stuff. Everyone is now starting to really notice the continual rise in inflation, which is pushing up prices. The supply chain issues with some, energy is a good example, that are adding to the woes and driving up prices even more than the cost of living and the inflation rate would do. And that's had a marked impact. People now, more and more people are turning to crime, different types of crime, in order to combat this lessening of their disposable income and the increase in prices. So we're seeing instances of shop theft, shoplifting, whatever you want to call it, increasing quite dramatically. We're seeing energy theft, so people siphoning out petrol and diesel from vehicles, stealing gas bottles, bypassing their mains gas or mains electricity supply meters in order to get free energy. Kind of coupled with that, talking about energy, articles in the media this week, several articles from different sources around the potential for blackouts or energy temporary brownouts, whatever you want to call it, as we head towards winter and the natural change of the seasons, the colder weather, meaning and darker days and nights, less daylight. That's better. Keeping people in the house more, so having the lights on more, the heating on more. Mainstream media, alternative media, energy companies themselves, government ministers, all coming out in the media over the last week or two saying that there's a chance, which generally means it's going to happen, that we're going to get energy rationing of some description or power outages caused by excessive demand and lack of supply from the power stations. All of that looks like it's going to be happening this winter. Talked about it in previous videos. You know that I'm doing things myself to try and preempt that. So if you're not, I'd encourage you to do the same. It seems that it's pretty sure that there's going to be some kind of restricted availability of power as we head into winter this year. Still on the economic theme, house prices and house sales. We talked, I think it was last week, about mortgage companies cutting back on the number of mortgages and types of mortgages that they're giving to people to buy houses. But it seems that the interest rate rises and the effect of inflation on disposable income, so people are spending more for the same things, so their amount of free money or spare money that they have every month has been reduced, so that's your disposable income. So lack of disposable income coupled with high interest rate repayments, restrictions on mortgages, all of that is having a big impact on the housing market. Prices are going down. So if you are thinking about moving house, I'd suggest waiting because you might find it's a lot cheaper, or the cost of the house itself is a lot cheaper next year. All of the effects of inflation and especially energy costs is having a big impact on business. The number of companies that are either closing production temporarily in a way of trying to save money, or are laying off staff as a way of trying to save money, or companies that are just literally going out of business because they can't afford to run the business anymore. Numbers of businesses in those categories massively increasing. there's an awful lot of businesses either taking a break or going bust. So lots going on connected with the economy, whether it's companies or whether it's individual finances. I think I've talked it to death over the last few months, but for the sake of repetition, I would encourage people to think hard, carefully about what they're spending their money on. If it's possible for you to cut back on the nice to haves rather than the essentials and then save that money, I would really encourage you to do that. You never know, with all of the disruption in the business economy, you never know when the company that you work for might be getting impacted, and God forbid you could lose your job and need some kind of emergency fund to get you going until you find, or to keep you going, until you find another alternative source of income. So if you're not doing that, seriously think about it. But primarily energy this winter, do as I am and lots of others are, just have a little think about the essentials that you would need to keep going in the event of a power outage, and how you might be able to do that. And also think about how you're going to keep warm. Because I'm sure I said it in my last video, people in the UK generally run their heating on gas. If your gas is on, that's all fine and dandy, but if your power goes out, it's not just the lights and your electrical appliances that are impacted. Your gas boiler, your central heating system will be impacted. It won't work without mains electric as well as gas. So really have a little think about what you can do. I've discussed it in lots of videos, so I don't propose to repeat myself in this video really. I would just say have a think about it if you already haven't done that. Final point, and it's been in the media an awful lot this week. Good old President Biden didn't help by saying we're facing nuclear Armageddon, worse than the Cuban Missile Crisis back in the 60s. The threat of nuclear war is there. I don't personally think it is. However, having said that, the people that are currently being touted as the villains of the peace, that's predominantly China and Russia, and to a lesser degree North Korea. Focusing on Russia for a second, which is what Biden was doing, and saying that Putin's on the brink, he could flip any minute and press the button and we'd have nuclear Armageddon. He's probably right. I suspect Putin's a bit more stable than most pundits would give him credit for. He's not really inclined to act in a knee-jerk or rash fashion just because somebody upsets him one day, contrary to popular belief. He is far more calculated and considered in his approach than that. He's ex-KGB, ex-head of KGB actually, and he didn't get to where he is now by being rash and just off the cuff or spontaneous. He got where he is by being very, very calculated in his approach to everything, very methodical in his approach to everything. However, if the West continues down this path of just provocation after provocation after provocation and doesn't even consider discussion and dialogue, then yeah, there is potential. There certainly is, because as you know, in real everyday life, you can only push people so far, doesn't matter who they are. Eventually, if you keep pressing that button, that trigger button, if you keep doing that, even the most mild-mannered of person will eventually flip and just go crazy. And that's what we're doing, or what our political leaders are doing, and have been for months now. They've just been continually poking, So it shouldn't come as a surprise if eventually there is a reaction that we don't want, none of us want. And then we're into completely unknown territory. And as a normal everyday prepper, even a well-prepared prepper cannot realistically combat a nuke dropping on their head. It's game over. So yeah, we could, if we're not careful, we could be deliberately steered into a nuclear conflict, and I dread to think what the outcome of that would be for everybody, for the planet. So I pray that we don't end up getting there, and I pray that all of this continual provocation, I hope that wiser people somehow manage to take control. But knowing politicians, I wouldn't bank on that. How are things with you? How is everybody out there? Wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing, I hope you are staying safe and well and enjoying your weekend. I hope you are continuing to consider what your options might be for all the various crises we've got going on, and I hope that you are actively doing something to mitigate the effects. A lot more people now are talking about a dark winter, and you can take the term dark to mean whatever you like, whether it's literally dark because the lights have gone out, or whether it's dark because of the state of the economy in the country come winter, or whether it's dark because everybody's flipped and is fighting each other on the streets. Take your pick of scenarios, but whatever it is that we do end up in, I hope that you are taking positive steps and considering what you can do to mitigate the effects. At some point, it's probably worth having a discussion about the benefit of a group rather than an individual. If there are any of you out there that are lone wolf preppers and think that you're just going to put your backpack on and go out into the woods and all will be well, I've got news for you. Solo does not work in a proper shit at the fan scenario, because at some point you're going to go to sleep, and then you have no clue what's happening until it's too late. So I think at some point I've done one before, I'm fairly sure I have, on mutual aid groups and the benefits of having other people with you if something does hit the fan. But I think as we head towards winter, it's probably worth re-emphasising that point, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Thanks to everybody who puts comments in the comment section, really do appreciate it, as do others that view the comment section. I regularly see somebody saying, oh, thanks for that, or people having a dialogue with each other in the comment section. So please do put your comments in, good, bad or indifferent, but polite, please. And let us know what it is that you're up to. What are you thinking about? What are you doing to get ready for this winter? Your thoughts are valuable, so do share them with everybody. So I'm going to get the greenery out for the chickens. I'm going to give you a quick whiz round. I'll definitely do a harvest. I might do a plant, and then at some point, hopefully this sun stays out for a while, I can start adding to my video clip collection on that solar power generation. But whatever I am doing, I'll let you know later. So enjoy your weekend. I'll catch up with you shortly. Well, it wouldn't be the weekend without the greenery, would it? They're all pecking away at that. Apart from that little red one who is still in the nest box and doesn't seem to want to come out at all. Still not sure what to do about her. I might end up having to chase her off, but we'll see. Anyway, while they're enjoying that, we'll have a quick... Oh, she's come out, look. There she is. Now's my chance. Let me get in there quick, and I'll catch up with you in a minute. Well, there we go. Now the little red one's off the nest. I've got 11 eggs there, so that's great. That's those potatoes I was talking about earlier. You can see they have got some small chits. I'm not convinced there's enough there. Well, I think I will pop them in just for the hell of it and see what happens. Well, I promised you a quick run round, so here we go. The only thing of note really in here, as you know, are these chilies, which I've been harvesting. I'm not a great chili fan, I have to say. I don't mind a little bit of spiciness, but I can't cope with this mega hot stuff. So I've given these to people who are big chili fans, and they say that they're great. They're really hot. No clue what variety this is at all. The seeds were just given to me by somebody and said, can you plant these and try and grow me some? So that's what I did. I mean, there's loads and loads and loads on here, and as they're coming fully red, just, you know, a couple here, a couple there, collecting them. And they're still going because we've got flowers still on the plant in different places, so they're clearly not over yet. There's loads more flowers down there, there's more flowers down there, and chilies. So yeah, there's loads to go at. This pumpkin, I am going to start thinning this out and cutting it back. There are pods on there. Find them. They are there, and you've seen these for weeks now. They just don't seem to be getting any bigger. So I'm going to start thinning them out. All the ones like these branches here that don't seem to be doing much apart from flowering. They'll quite happily flower and produce no pod or pumpkin. I think I'll be tempted to just start cutting these back. You can see they've got a bit of mildew on there as well, which you don't really want. So I'll take a look at that. Across in the polytunnel, again, I'm going to start thinning back. There's only the tomato and a little bit of cucumber left, really. And I've been picking away at the cucumbers. In fact, I got two this morning. There's two little small ones there, look. But that again is about finished now, so that'll get thinned out. Some of these tomato plants I think also will get thinned out. Potatoes that I planted a few weeks ago now, looking very, very strong and healthy despite the temperature drop, so that's good. No sign of this one. This is what, 2 weeks now this has been in, so whether they'll come through or not, I'm still not entirely sure. As you saw when I planted them, the chits weren't huge, but I might just for the hell of it pop those last remaining ones in there and leave them to see what happens. Out of the ones outside, I am going to pull one of those containers today just to keep me going all the way through the next week. I've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've got 6 still to go at, and then after that we're back to the supply chain. God help us. Right, we'll take a look at this one and see what we've got. Get rid of the foliage. And any additional dross that happens to come out. And see what we've got. Okay. Well, these are a little bit bigger, which is encouraging. You can tell the difference in soil between the last few harvests and this one, because the soil is now wet. All this rain we've been having this last week or so, there's starting to get a little bit of skin damage on some of these, but it's not the end of the world. They're not as clean as the other ones, but they're not rotting, which is good. few of them in this bucket. Quite a few of them. There's the odd small ones, but so far it's quite encouraging. As you know, the last few that I harvested, the size has been really disappointing. Well, size and quantity for that matter. But this bucket's looking a lot better. I think it's benefited from that one's trying to chit. How dare it! Yeah, the size and quantity this year is definitely down on last, but this bucket, to be fair, is not doing too bad at all compared to the rest. Not too bad at all. They're wet, so they're going to need a bit of time. Let's get rid of those cucumbers. They're going to need a bit of time to dry out, but I have to say, I'm really pleased with this one. Very pleased. Much better in terms of size and quantity. Much better. Yep, some of them are trying to escape. That's me in my haste, trying to get rid of the soil. Yeah, these are a bit too small, but overall, very pleased with this. That's probably about it. Oh, the odd stray. Look at that. That's just when you thought it was over, out they come. Got to be there now. Yeah, that's it. So let me get this soil put away and I'll show you what we've ended up with. Well, there we go. That's what we've ended up with. And to be fair, these are not bad sized compared to the other ones in previous buckets. Can't really complain about those at all. Very nice. And apart from the odd one, I did see it somewhere, that had a bit of skin scab on, they're all clear. No rot, no skin scab. In fact, is that it? Yeah, tiny bit there, but nothing to get excited about. So yeah, very pleased with that. That can go and dry out now, and at some point this week I'll pick them up and take them home. Well, let's take a little look and see what we've got going on in those hives. It is a bit windy still, but at least the temperature's up and it's not raining, so let's take a look what we've got going on, particularly in this end one. I'll get the camera on the tripod and hopefully you'll get a decent view as I open it up. I can see we've got a few wasps hanging around outside. I'm praying that they're not actually trying to take up residence here. Get away. Let's have a look and see. Yeah, this top super box completely empty. Nothing at all in there. It's actually the same with this first super box. Again, nothing at all going on in there. Yeah, I'm afraid to say it's looking like this has been abandoned. Not seeing anything at all in there. I've got a little bit of honey in this frame in the middle with a dead wasp in it. There's justice for you. In fact, there's a wasp there, look, trying to get a free meal. Go away. Yeah, I think that's what they're after. They're visiting this because the hive is empty, but there's still some honey in there. So that's the attraction. I don't know if you'll see that or not. Completely empty frame. Just that little bit of a sparkle where there's a bit of honey left inside some of the cells. That was honey in there. It's been picked clean, probably by those wasps. Yeah, similar story in there. There's absolutely nothing whatsoever in there. Again, that's been picked clean. Yeah, totally empty. So that's officially dead. No hive, nothing in there at all. All the bees have gone, and the only visitor is the odd wasp that's coming to have the last remnants of honey from this frame. And to be fair, there's not an awful lot of it left either. So, disappointing, a little bit sad, but at least now I know. So what I'll do is I'll recover that hive back into the cabin, give it a clean up and get it ready for next year. But it's amazing to look into this hive, get out, and it's completely empty, not one single bee in there at all. But having said that, I think we kind of knew. So while we're here, we'll have a quick peek in some of the other two, see what's going on in there. I know there's plenty of activity there, but I'll move the camera and you can take a look. So this is the middle of the three hives. Lots of activity going on there. We've got the odd few bees just kind of strolling around on this top super box, but doesn't seem to be any build out of frames in there. I think they're just having a look around. Now there is in this one, might need to quieten them down a little bit. Because in this one, we've actually got the three centre frames They're all filled out. Oh, that's actually quite stiff. And that's honey, pure honey. They're still working on that back side, but this front, almost edge to edge, is filled up with honey and they're busy capping it off. Hope you can see that there. Certainly plenty of activity in here. Let's take a look at the very centre one, because that's the biggest one. It's actually difficult to get it out. It's well stuck down. That's better. It's very, very stiff. They're getting a bit ruckusy. There we go, look at that. Absolutely full on both sides of honey, and they're busy capping it off. Beautiful. So we've got 3 in this super box. In fact, we've actually got a 4th one. They're just starting on this one. So 3 frames that are pretty much end to end with honey. I'm guessing the bottom is going to be full. But this is where it gets a bit ruckusy, I think. If I take this off, I think they're going to get rowdy. Oh, that's assuming I can get it off. It's absolutely stuck solid. Absolutely solid. There we go. Now that's really solid, and that's just annoyed them. Calm down, ladies. As I prized it off, it came off with a bit of a bang, and they didn't like that at all. Wow, that's absolutely full of bees. Let's see if I can get you to see inside this. They're not happy. Not happy at all. Yes, okay. Calm down. I'm guessing you can hear them. Unbelievable. The inside of this frame, this box, is absolutely rammed. See if I can show you without... Absolutely chock-a-block. They need more space. I just want them to move up into the next frames. But for some reason they don't seem to want to do that. Yeah, they're not happy with this at all. And I'm going to have to be a little bit careful here, because there's that many bees in here. I've hardly got room to get this little tool in, let alone get my hand in. We're going to need some more smoke soon. Come on, out the way. Apologies for the agonising delay. It's just that they're so stuck together, I'm really struggling to get them apart and create enough distance between the frames to actually lift one out. They are really stuck together. I'll try the back ones. Again, honey, they're storing up for winter. Both of these two back frames I can see are about 3/4 full of honey. Oh, this one's really heavy. Really heavy. Absolutely chock-a-block of honey. So I know that's healthy. So I'm not going to annoy them anymore. I'll get it put back together and we'll take a look at the last one. Well, on to the last one. Oh, it's absolutely roasted inside this suit. But I really need it, because as I'm opening these up, they're getting really quite stressed and a little bit aggressive. So let's take a look in this final one, see what we've got going on, and get ready for the hullabaloo. Similar story to the last one with this. The top frame has got bees in it. They're just kind of milling around, not really doing much, but again, this is stuck to the box beneath. So I suspect there's something in the box beneath. Yeah, there is. There's a lot, actually. A lot of bees. There's a lot of bees around my face trying to get inside my suit. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of the 10 frames have actually got I'm looking like it's honey. inside them. I'll take the back one out, which again is stuck down, really well stuck down to the box body. God, it does not want to come out. It's out at this end, but it's not coming out the other end. This tree is not helping me either. I think it's stuck to the queen excluder sheet underneath the actual box itself. I think they've built out of the bottom box into this super box and stuck them both together. They're not welcoming my attention. There we go. That's coming loose. Okay, hopefully. It's still stuck. Absolutely solid. There we go. Yeah, you can see they've built out and they're busy filling now with honey on both sides. They're actually capping off on this one, and that's the furthest towards the back. So I'm guessing these centre ones are even fuller. As I say, out of the 10, 5 of them appear to be full of honey. They're so solidly stuck. Really stuck. That's probably a result of me not removing them enough times. Obviously, the more you inspect, the less chance there is of them sticking together, but that's definitely super stuck. Right, this is the front out of the 5. So again, you can see capping off in process on both sides. So we've got 5 frames that are almost full of honey. I mean, the good news is they've got plenty of room to go, because they've got another 5 empty frames plus 10 empty frames in that top box, so they've got space. But they could do with probably a bit of space in the bottom. This is so well stuck together. Whew. Really stuck. I'm a bit nervous that I'm going to have to force it and really annoy them. There's a lesson learned here, not to put off the inspections. I think I'm paying a bit too much attention to upsetting them with the weather by taking the hive apart, but I'm creating extra problems when it comes to trying to do the inspection. There we go. God, that took some doing. Let's try and calm them down again. Yeah, that's super glued on almost. Let's see if I can show you what I mean. If you look in the centre, you'll see the creamy yellow colour. That's all their wax where they've built up the frames in the bottom box, and it's gone through that metal sheet with the queen excluder and glued itself to the super box above. Just making sure you can still see what I'm doing. Hopefully that's okay. So let's see if we can get this off without desperately annoying the bees. But I suspect it's going to be a tall order because that is well glued down in the centre. Really glued down. Yeah. Oh dear. There we go, I think. Yeah. Wow. And that's annoyed them. Okay. Yeah, the back frame's not too bad. Just loosen these off a little bit. And same around the other side. Oh. God, some of these, it's like they're set in concrete. Okay, where to look? I think the easiest one would be the front. So let's see if we can get that out. Just conscious that I'm getting covered in bees. You can see that one's almost full and fully capped of honey. Busy working on the other side. And then as I look in, every frame just about appears to be full of honey. So I think at some point I'm going to need to take a few of these frames out, not all of them obviously, and drop in some new ones, otherwise they'll have nowhere left to lay the eggs next year. So let me get this put back together and that'll do, I think. Well, I am absolutely dripping with sweat. That bee suit is so hot. And despite the wind, that's not kept me cold at all. I've been stood in direct sun there in that suit, humping stuff around. So yeah, pretty much as I suspected, that third hive wasn't doing well. The last twice, maybe 3 times that we've looked inside together, you'll know that I've said I'm not sure about this one. It's the one I'm most concerned about. I had hoped it would hang in there and all would be well and it would kind of build its population, but clearly not. Whether that was because there wasn't a queen in there, or whether it was there was and it died or moved on, or I don't know the reason, and I never will know the reason. But clearly today, completely devoid. The only thing that I saw around that hive at all was a couple of wasps here and there, which I have noticed and I think I mentioned last week, I have noticed before, I was a bit concerned that I was going to open it up and find a wasp nest, but thankfully I didn't. I have brought that hive in now. It's just in the old cabin at the back there. Whether I actually needed to do that to bring it in or not, I don't honestly know. I just figured that since it was no longer full of bees, other things might want to try and move in there and make a little home, you know, little mice or shrews or who knows what. So I figured if I bring it in, I can take a bit of time over the next few months to give it a bit of a clear out, make sure that it's okay, and then next spring bring it back out onto the field so that it's ready, hopefully, to split one of my existing hives and create that third one again, as I've done this year. I mean, I can't complain. I have been lucky. I've ended up with 2 full hives producing lots of honey from the original one little bee box that I started with a couple of years ago. So I am lucky that I've managed to double my hives. If I could do that next year, how nice would that be? So yeah, it's also been a good opportunity to remind me to order stuff. I noticed when I was doing the smoking machine, I went to get these little pellets that you light them and they slowly burn very, very, like a cigarette, very, very slowly on their own and create the smoke. I noticed I was starting to get low on those, so that's been a useful prompt. I'll order some more of those, and I'll probably over winter, I think that Thorn Beehives have got a sale on, so I might just look, and you never know, I might actually get another hive and build that so that I've got 2 ready to go next year. We'll see anyway. At some point over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have to go back in there. There is no space in the bottom at all of either of those hives. They're absolutely full to the brim of honey. Now, I need to create some space for them for next year to start laying eggs and creating more baby bees. They're not going to be able to do that if all of that bottom frame is full of honey. So there is a bit of shuffling around to be done. I need to organise myself and get some empty bottom box frames ready, because they're much bigger than the super boxes above them. So I need to get some of those ready, and just when I get a decent bit of weather over the next couple of weeks, I'll dive in, I'll share it with you. We'll pull out a couple of those frames of honey and replace them with empty frames, and they've got somewhere then to build on in the spring. They'll not be doing it now. It's far too late in the year now. Or is it? Simon, if you're watching, let me know. And tell me your top tips for overwintering. So that's it. I just need a quick tidy up. I am going to have a bit of a clear out of that pumpkin in the garden room and thin out those tomatoes a bit. But do you really want to see that? I'm guessing probably not. So next thing you see, I'll be walking back up the field. Well, that's it for today. The clouds are starting to gather, so I think I just did that at the right time, getting inside those hives. I'll not know till I do the edit, but hopefully you'll be able to see everything that was going on there. I have to confess, it does look a bit strange now not seeing 3 hives, only seeing 2. But at least I am safe in the knowledge that those other 2 are really well established, if not overflowing. So fingers crossed next year they'll produce more hives for me. Get myself off home, get a few more little jobs done, get this video edited, and continue with my little solar power station experiment. At some point during this week, fingers crossed, I'll have that video ready for you as well. So lots to look forward to. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, hope you're staying safe and well and enjoying your weekend. and I'll catch you in the next one.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. Just feel free to leave them in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.